Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nina Gallegos.
And I'm Jaden Awan. One day after hiring the head coach, the New Mexico State University administration is working to get the basketball program back on track.
At 10 o'clock this morning, the university chancellor and director of athletics met the media to answer questions. Chancellor Dan Arvizu and Director of Athletics Mario Mocha walked into the Fulton Center on the south side of Aggie Memorial Stadium to answer questions about a disastrous season for men's basketball. The season ended with serious allegations that 3 team members hazed a teammate. The police report said it amounted to false imprisonment, criminal sexual contact, and harassment.
Violation of our student conduct is unacceptable. Curfew violations are unacceptable. I know it happens elsewhere. You hear it about it all the time. We will redouble our efforts. Not acceptable. Not at this institution ever again.
The hazing allegations are the second scandal in the program in the past 3 months. In November, Aggie forward Mike Peake was involved in a shootout with a University of New Mexico student on that campus in Albuquerque. It happened at 3 in the morning as the Aggies were in Albuquerque to play the rival Lobos. Peake was wounded in the leg, and Brandon Travis, the UNM student, was killed. NMSU hired a law firm to investigate the shooting incident, but it's been slow going.
Earlier, there have been several investigations. One investigation regarding that particular event is not completed, and part of the reason it hasn't been completed is that the coach has represented counsel, and it's been difficult to interview him. In the context of that, we've looked at all the surrounding evidence to essentially bolster our case for the termination of the coach.
Now that the coach, Greg Heyer, has been fired, Arvizu says the investigation will continue to determine who might bear responsibility. In any event, he says a house cleaning is needed.
Everything that I have learned is that our men's basketball program has been infected with bad behavior, a culture of bad behavior. There have been some egregious violations of our student code of conduct, and there have been essentially other despicable acts.
Athletic Director Mocha defended the process that brought Greg Heyer to Las Cruces. He emphasized Heyer has ties to previous successful coach Chris Jans as well as other successful coaches. He says he regrets the outcome and that hindsight is 20/20.
We went around the NMSU campus today to hear what students think of the problems with Aggies men's basketball.
It's just really disappointing, honestly. I know last year that NMSU, we had won WAC last year, the WAC tournament, so hearing that we were just in last place.
I think if hazing's done right, it could be okay, I guess, but there's been plenty of instances where hazing has gone completely far, way too far.
That's just sad. And the fact that they didn't do anything about it, like all his teammates too, is pretty messed up. They should all be held accountable for it a little bit.
And Jenny is next with a first look at weather.
Thanks, guys. So it was pretty chilly across Las Cruces today with mostly cloudy skies. Our temperature right now is 43 degrees, but it is going to feel pretty chilly because of those winds blowing out of the west at 22 miles per hour. We did have a humidity of 21%, a dew point of 5 degrees, and a barometer reading 29.9 inches. Our high today was only 46 degrees with a low of 24, but around this time we normally have weather at 62 degrees. Back in 2014, we had a record high of 82 degrees, and in 1964, we had a low of 11 degrees. We did have a few flurries and a little rainfall this morning, so we only got 0.05 inches, leaving our yearly rainfall at 0.49 inches. Join me later for a look at your national forecast.
Thanks, Jenny. Las Cruces Police will be holding recruiting events during this weekend's women's basketball game at the Pan Am Center. Anyone interested in joining law enforcement are encouraged to come to visit a recruiter. Incentives for new cadets include pay up to $25K during their first 3 years as an officer and layer up to $35K plus salary after their 4th year. Other recruitment locations include Bassett Place on El Paseo, February 18th and 19th. For more information, visit clcpd.com or text 575-376-6817. And Democratic lawmakers are pushing for a 25-cent drink tax on alcohol. On Friday, this proposal survived its first committee with a 6-4 vote. Lobbyists for the New Mexico Brewers Guild said the changes would undo incentives that help the state grow its craft beer scene. The bill will require alcohol to be taxed based on the type and how much is sold rather than by gallon. Supporters say the goal is to avoid favoring any particular drink. If the proposal is passed, New Mexico will dedicate an extra $155 million to support health and treatment.
New Mexico lawmakers are looking for a way to reduce violence with the new gun control bill. The bill, named for 13-year-old Billy Hargrove, requires that firearms be kept in a spot where children cannot access them. Billy was an Albuquerque middle school student fatally shot by a fellow student in 2021. The gun belonged to the shooter's father. Opponents say the bill is unclear on what illegal gun conduct is and it violates their Second Amendment rights. The House endorsed the legislation and it will be sent to the Senate next.
And college rivals are coming together to raise money for the migrants at the southern border. Students here at New Mexico State University and next door at UTEP are doing their best to help refugees. Many of the students have personal involvement with families south of the border. The Rivals for Relief initiative will end on Friday with a goal of raising $30,000. And a group here at NMSU is working to help the victims of the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. The women in the NMSU Refugee Educational Support Program will be making a traditional Afghan dish to raise funds. You can help by ordering a meal, and the money will go towards the International Red Cross helping earthquake victims of Turkey and Syria. For more information, contact Professor Raja Shindi at 575-646-2422. In the earthquake-devastated area, India, Army personnel have been deployed with the UN in Syria, delivering relief supplies in the city of Aleppo. An Indian Army team deployed within the UN's Disengagement Observer Force has delivered relief material to Aleppo, according to the Indian Army's additional Directorate General of Public Information. This includes rations and medicines from Government of India, as well as contributions from the international community.
Stay tuned. Jenny will be back with your national forecast. Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Wednesday,
where news matters. Going, gone. The fate of the former Las Cruces Country Club clubhouse has been highly debated within the community, and the building is on track for demolition. News 22's Kira Moots has the story.
The Henry Trost-designed clubhouse was once the center of society in Las Cruces. It was the place to go for events.
What we found from talking to people about their remembrances of events that were held here or things that were part of their lives, graduations and proms and weddings, different things, or employment sometimes. What we found is that it really had an orientation of filling in for what wasn't elsewhere in town.
Obviously, it's a very historical building made by the designer, Mr. Trost, and a lot of people have utilized that. I, as a kid, have been inside there. My uncle used to work for the university and used to do ice carvings for President Corbett. So there's a whole lot of history there.
Since many members of the Las Cruces community remember how beautiful this building once was, there's a movement underway to try and help save it. But many are saying that it's just time to let the building go.
Because this is what the 100-year-old country clubhouse looks like now. Piles and piles of trash. Vulgar and profane graffiti shrouding the walls, and extensive damage to both the interior and exterior. But even in such terrible condition, some people say it is worth saving.
Structurally, it's sound.
But trying to rehabilitate it would be an extensive and drawn-out process.
I believe that the developer needs to move forward with their plans, and most likely that's going to happen to my knowledge.
It appears the efforts to save this building are doomed, and the 100-year-old Las Cruces landmark is scheduled for demolition any day now. Kira Moots, News 22.
Pluto is not recognized as a planet, but here in Las Cruces, its memory lives on at Plutomania. Las Cruces Museum of Nature and Science held its Plutomania event, marking 93 years since local astronomer Clyde Tombaugh discovered the now ex-planet Pluto in our solar system. The interactive tables at the museum display different space science concepts, from gravity to describing satellite orbits.
We like to have family events that can have something for everybody of all ages. So we've got stuff for the little kids to do all the way through adults that still have an interest in science or want to come out and learn something new or share what they know.
The museum hopes events like these will attract any age to the STEM community to come and learn about New Mexico history. A blinding dust storm in Oklahoma resulted in a deadly 10-car pileup on Tuesday. Oklahoma Highway Patrol Lieutenant Eric Brown took this video from the passenger seat of a police vehicle following an ambulance to the crash on US 54 near Goodwell. The accident involved 10 vehicles, including commercial tractor trailers. According to Oklahoma Highway Patrol, the driver of one SUV was killed in the wreck, with other drivers sustaining various injuries. And Jenny is next with the national weather.
Thanks, Jaden. So as we can see from my first national map, that Las Cruces wasn't the only chilly city today. We have Seattle sitting at 46 degrees. We had 30 degrees in Salt Lake City, and we had an even colder 18 degrees in Denver with chances of snow. Now, if we look at my next national map, we can see the reason why is because of Winter Storm Nova. Winter Storm Nova mostly hit along the Rockies today, but you will see that Colorado and that Denver area could get up to 12 to 18 inches of snow. Now on to my next national map, we can see that that storm is going to move more north. It's going to hit Kansas City and Milwaukee, but in the Ohio Valley, it will be getting some rain. So Cincinnati and Cleveland, make sure to bring your umbrellas. That's all I have for your national map. Join me later after the break for your look at your local forecast. Welcome back. Taking a look at those local temperatures, we can see that even though Winter Storm Nova has moved out, it is going to be pretty chilly across Las Cruces. Tonight, we can see that Farmington will be at 23, Gallup at 22, Santa Fe again at 23, Albuquerque at 33, Socorro at 39, Clovis at 41, Ruidoso at 28, Roswell at 51, Las Cruces at 43, and Deming will be 42. And we can see that Farmington will be at 30, Albuquerque at 35, Socorro at 38, and Deming at 46. Taking a look at those neighboring cities, Alamogordo will have some clear skies with a low of 16 and a high of 44. Truth or Consequences, a low of 20 and a high of 43. Silver City, it's going to be a really chilly low of 9 degrees with a high of 40. And here in Las Cruces tonight, it'll be 23 degrees with a high of 50 tomorrow. Join me later for your 5-day forecast. Back to the desk.
The Asian American Pacific Islander students at NMSU are trying to be recognized by the university. Recently, they held a Lunar New Year celebration. Paper lantern crafts and free cables filled the Garcia Center grassy area.
There isn't any organization on campus to help celebrate the Asian Pacific Islander community here. So we wanted to throw something to celebrate, and what better way to do it than the Lunar New Year's, which is celebrated amongst many Asian cultures.
The AAPI organization hopes events like this one and their current petition will help establish an official diversity community here at NMSU and grant them a dedicated room like other organizations on campus. And Carpio Griego is next with sports.
Thanks, guys. Coming up in sports, more on the future of NMSU men's basketball. Now, don't go too far, okay? News22 Sports is coming up next.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. I'm Carpio Grego. Now let's talk about some sports. Bad day for Mario Mocha. We open with more information regarding the firing of head coach Greg Heyer as of yesterday. This morning, the athletic director addressed the media for the first time regarding the initial hiring of Coach Heyer.
The tree that Coach Heyer came from, yielded tremendous coaches in Steve Forbes and Chris Jans. So at the end of the day, I do not believe that we have a broken system of hiring coaches. There was 3 regular season games remaining. We will be announcing an official statement soon on what season ticket holders can expect. I would anticipate it would be very similar to when New Mexico State could not compete because of the state regulations.
But it's okay, don't worry, Aggie fans, because the women's team is still there to give you your basketball fix. Now, Seattle University is coming to the Pan Am Center tomorrow, and the Aggies look to bounce back after a really tough 90-57 loss to Utah Tech. The team is currently 7th in the WAC, and a win could help them try to lock up a decent seed before the WAC tournament starts in Las Vegas. Yeah, short but sweet today, but that's all I got for you tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead on News 22, Gina's going to be back with your 5-day forecast.
That's all for News 22 Wednesday, and from the whole news team, good night.
This news brief in Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Karen Sánchez, gracias por estar con nosotros en Noticias 22. Después de las acusaciones de abuso sexual ocurridas entre 3 jugadores hacia otros compañeros del equipo de los Aggies de básquetbol de la Universidad Estatal de Nuevo México, el entrenador del equipo Greg Heyer fue despedido tras una conferencia de prensa hoy en la mañana. Danny Arbizu, el rector de la universidad, anunció a través de un comunicado esta decisión, ya que estas acciones controversiales no forman parte de la ética del campus.
Men's basketball program has been infected with bad behavior, a culture of bad behavior. There have been some egregious violations of our...
Como recordaremos, tan solo hace 3 meses, Mike Pike, otro jugador del equipo de básquetbol, estuvo involucrado en un tiroteo contra un estudiante de la Universidad de Nuevo México. En Albuquerque, el random Travis falleció. Hasta el momento no se ha revelado de las identidades de los sospechosos del delito reciente ni hecho ningún cargo hacia ellos. Bueno, good night.